I'm Olivia, dietitian at the MLK Health Center and Pharmacy, and today we're going to be making a quick, healthy yogurt parfait. We're going to get started with some plain Greek yogurt, and I like to use Greek yogurt because it has more protein than the regular yogurt. And I also like to use plain because this way I can sweeten it myself and I can add whatever flavors I want. So it just makes it a little bit more customizable. We're gonna do 2/3 of a cup of yogurt. And whenever I make any sort of meal, I always like to think about how does this fit in the plate. We're always talking about the plate method and what that looks like. So how does this fit in the plate? So your yogurt is going to be your milk serving. But then also, since we're using Greek yogurt, there's a whole serving of protein in here. So this can also count towards your meat. It's not a full meat serving, but this would count technically like an ounce of meat if you want to think about it in terms of that. So that's why I like the Greek yogurt. So you get both the dairy and the protein. So now we're going to add a little sweetener. So I have some honey here. We're just going to use a teaspoon. If you have diabetes, this is definitely something you want to measure. Anything more than this would be could cause a big spike in blood sugar. So we want to just do about a teaspoon or less if you want to do even less, or if you wanted to use a different sweetener like stevia, that would be a 0-calorie sweetener. You could do that as well. But this way you also get the flavor of the honey, so that's fun. So mix that in. And now we're going to move on to the toppings. We have some fruit, we have some berries here, and we have some walnuts. So our fruit obviously is going to count as our fruit section of our plate. And you can have a cup of berries. So this is just 1/3 a measuring cup, so it's not going to be very accurate. So I'll just use my hands. I'll put some strawberries in here and a handful of blueberries to count as about a cup of fruit. Whoop, lost a berry. And then for our walnuts, any type of nuts, you really want to have a small portion size because nuts are a high source of fat. And even though this is a great healthy fat, we still want to be mindful of our portion size. So this is about 1 to 2 tablespoons or about 5 whole walnuts chopped up. And so you can just top this with walnuts, or if you don't like them, you can use a different nut or just leave it off entirely, and that's fine. So this would be our breakfast, and that's it. All right, so just to go back to the plate to finish off this meal, we have our dairy, our fruit, we have our protein from the protein in the Greek yogurt and the little protein in the walnuts. The last section of our plate is our grain section or our starch section, and then also our vegetable section. Now at breakfast, you don't have to have vegetables. It's totally optional. With this meal, I really can't think of a good vegetable that would go well with this, so totally fine to leave that off. It's optional to have the starch because there's plenty of carbohydrates in this, but if you wanted to add something else, you could add a 1/2 cup of a whole grain cereal, preferably something that's low in sugar, so like a plain Cheerio or cornflakes or bran flakes. But this is a good way to incorporate cereal if you like cereal. A bowl of cereal is not going to be the most nutritional thing to eat just because it is just carbohydrates, and sometimes they can be very high in sugar. And so if that's something that you enjoy, this is a good way to enjoy it because you get the benefit of the fat and the protein from the yogurt, so it can help prevent any blood sugar spike. And then also if you're using it more like a topping versus the main source of the breakfast, you're also getting a little bit less carbohydrates from that. And that's all I have for you. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.